Hello and welcome back to the present moment with Ken Wapnick and Jesus. We're studying the lessons of A Course in Miracles here, and today we're on lesson number 258. Let me remember that my goal is God. All that is needful is to train our minds to overlook all little senseless aims and to remember that our goal is God. His memory is hidden in our minds, obscured but by our pointless little goals, which offer nothing and do not exist. Shall we continue to allow God's grace to shine in unawareness while the toys and trinkets of the world are sought instead? God is our only goal, our only love. We have no aim but to remember Him. Our goal is but to follow in the way that leads to you. We have no goal but this. What could we want but to remember you? What could we seek but our identity? With a capital I. Let me remember that my goal is God. So Ken Wapnick has some commentary here that I think is wonderful to help reinforce this lesson and help you practice it in your life, wherever you are out there, that aspect of myself that I love so dearly. So he says about this lesson, this refers to the need for constant vigilance, the mind training aspect of A Course in Miracles that requires discipline and hard work. And then he talks about how if you're learning to play an instrument, it takes a lot of practice. And essentially our minds are our instrument, really the only instrument. Because the body isn't real. The mind is the living part of us that's animating and perceiving this whole experience. So we have to practice watching it and not letting it run us into the ground. More Ken. Here we go. This learning means becoming aware of your identification as an innocent victim, seeing others as having the power to victimize you. This makes them the sinners, releasing you from God's punishment. So it's a little game that the ego plays to put space in between us and our brothers in our mind. Very, very devious, that ego. All right. Everything we think is so important and valuable, Jesus reduces to nothing more than a toy or a trinket. Yet our identification and obsession with these toys of specialness keep us unaware of God's love and keep His grace buried in our minds and beyond all capacity to remember. Try to recognize how everything you strive for is really nothing. When you place it next to the love of God, how can anything be important? So that's a great way to get the day started or keep the day going whenever you happen to be watching this and listening in. Let me remember my goal is God. Really simplifies it. The prayer is, God, help me, God. Refocus my mind, God. Show me where I'm making other things more important than you, God. And teach me to be more loving and aware and discerning with my mind so that I can be a communication device for your love and your blessings out here in this illusion of a life with my illusory experiences and unimportant trinkets and things. And, I think if it's just seen more as a movie that you're watching or a game that you're playing, it makes things a little bit easier and lighter. This morning we have two stray cats that come and visit our house. One of them is super sweet and comfortable, and we actually let him in, and he kind of like hangs out for the day sometimes. And then the other one doesn't come close. He doesn't let us touch him. So I decided that I wanted to have them both outside at the same time and just see how things would go. And I got a little nervous with the cat that's really familiar with us. I thought he was going to go after the other cat. So I kind of stepped in as this like rescuer of the less familiar cat. And that cat turned around and looked at me and was like, "Who the hell do you think you are? Like, I may come in your house and hang out with you, but I'm still wild." It's like this cat like knew his mind. Like he was just so clear. Like, you don't need to interfere, you don't need to touch me. And then he kind of turned around and walked away. It's like, let cats be cats, Sherry. You don't have to involve yourself or save anybody. So it's just so interesting that I wanted to intervene somehow and protect the other one. And there was no violence or nothing, even no lunging or anything. I just felt this need to like, you know, save this other cat. So, I mean, I don't know exactly where this is going, but it was just, I walked away from that experience and I felt guilty. I felt that like sensation of guilt, maybe embarrassment, something, but something was definitely in there. So the whole purpose of me describing that is to let you know that there's things that are inside my field, whatever this is, that are having these desires to intervene and rescue and save. And then, you know, it feels like I've overstepped and then I felt embarrassed. So I don't know. It's just something to think about, that we're always guided to correct ourselves, or at least see the whatever is remaining in our mind that is not serving us. And there's this part of me that needed to be seen today, and I felt a little shame around it. And, you know, then I kind of let it go and carried on with my morning. But that's something that's there. And when those things come up, it's like, how do I respond? Do I let that define a period of time of my day, or do I just say, oh, interesting, there's some feelings there, there's some, you know, sensation, some resonance of a past event that are remaining, that I'm holding on to. And then I just asked, Holy Spirit, Jesus, help me let this go. So there's a really small, odd example of what I go through with my mind training process. But it's important to mention because that's something so subtle and small like that just has to do with wild cats. It's like, you know, could be meaningless, but it's not, because it pointed to something in me, a feeling that arose in me that I needed to have my attention on for a moment and forgive it, release it, and let it go. So if those things happen for you, hopefully you have a process for it. And if not, maybe now you do. Just feel it, be with it, release it, thank it for showing up to show you that you still have areas of attention that might be clouding your true perception. And it's all good. Lots of love to you. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you back here again on the next video.